Hello, my crafty friends. What, 2 videos in a row? Well, I'm feeling froggy tonight. So, like I said, I wanted to film what's my favorite products to use. So, in front of me, you're going to see a variety of products and my mess, because I'm working on my table. So, let's just get started. So, right here, you see 2 pairs of scissors. One is a pair of mini snips. The other is a pair of large scissors. These are the Tim Holtz scissors, and I used Fiskars for years. And don't get me wrong, I still love my Fiskars scissors sometimes. But when I'm fussy cutting, these are just so good. And then if I have to cut out large things, I like to have my big scissors. These cut through chipboard, no problem. You wouldn't believe what these have cut through. So, I really recommend the Tim Holtz. It's worth the money. These run, I think I paid... I want to say I used a coupon at Hobby Lobby, a 40% off coupon, and I paid less than 20 bucks for them. But they are priced at 25. I know that for a fact. I think these were more reasonable, around 12 or 13. Fiskars still makes a good scissor. If you want, I will even show you. These are this is my non-stick pair. I've had it for a while. This is my very first pair of scissors that I ever owned like this. These I've had since 2011. They still cut fine. I just prefer these now that I've grown up and matured in my craft. So I'm going to put these to the side. Something else you should use is this purple box. It is the Xyron sticker maker. This is the smaller. They have them really big. They have them really small. This used to be just called the Xbox. This is what what I referred to in my store when somebody said, "Do you have any Xboxes?" I'd say, "Oh, we're sold out," or "Yeah, I've got one in the back. Let me get it for you." Now they're just the Xyron Create-A-Sticker, I think it's called now. It was a sticker maker. I don't know. Brands change the names on things. This, like I said, is old. You put your piece in here, and you pull here where there's a flap, and you make a sticker. Pretty easy. Great thing. They can be kind of expensive. Worth the investment. Wink of Stella. Now, if you've never played with one of these, let me, if I can open it with one hand. Oh, I can. This is Wink of Stella. It's a brush pen. It looks like a watercolor pen, but don't be fooled. It is full of glitter. It is worth, I think, you can get a pack of 3 of these for $12.98 on Amazon. That's how I bought mine, because I love it so much. And I have some gold and I have some silver, but I like the clear. This is 100% GL clear, $9.99. So, definitely worth investing in. The colored ones sometimes leave a colored trail behind them. The clear does not. Bone folder. Everyone should own one of these. You don't have to buy the most expensive bone holder. This is a Fiskars one, just because that's what my store sold. That is what I was using to teach classes. We were a premier for Fiskars retailer, I believe. My boss was tied with Fiskars, so that's why I have a lot of Fiskars products. You need a good bone folder. Fingertip knife. I can't recommend the Fiskars again, highly enough. This one I've had to replace. Somehow my fingertip knife in all these years has gone missing. So this is the replacement, but I had this exact same one to begin with, except for the rubber grip. You literally, when you're using it, stick your finger, I can get my finger in there, like so. That's how you're supposed to use it. I often use mine gripped like this. That's just me. Comes with a handy dandy holder. Don't lose that. That's important. Another thing you should have is a good 1/4 of an inch hole punch. This, again, is Fiskars. This I've had since 2011. This thing has been through the mill and back and still works. I mean, I can't kill this thing. Knock on wood, I haven't. So, I mean, definitely worth it. I've punched through chipboard with it. I've punched through toilet paper rolls. That's a fun one. But it still works and it's fine. So, definitely invest in a good hole punch. Handheld hole punch. I have a 3-hole punch. I have a 2-hole punch, I think. I have all the fun stuff. Another thing you should invest in is the Tim Holtz mini stapler. So easy to load and unload. You literally just fold this up, and after you fold this up, it'll flip completely over to this side, and you literally pull and put your staples in. Easy to use, handheld, compact. It's got a nice grip. I like it. I personally use this quite a bit. worth the investment. And once you buy the stapler once, you don't have to buy it again. You just buy this little staples. It works out great. So, we'll move this into frame. This is a Brayer. This is just the Hobby Lobby brand Brayer. But if you're going to be making junk journals with fabric covers, this is great because you can roll things out, obviously, with it. If you are doing other art project, you know, sometimes you have one of those big stamps. I've seen people use this to roll the stamp out. I've just seen people use them for all sorts of different things. I primarily use it if I'm making a junk journal cover to roll it out and make it as flat as possible. Like I said, I got this on sale. I paid $5 for it. If it lasts me 10 years, great. If it lasts me 1 year, I'm not out that much money. But it is pretty heavy for $5. I mean, it's a nice sturdy thing. Then they've gone up, so now they're like $20. Get them when you can get them on sale. That's my best thing. If you're going to buy anything from Hobby Lobby, wait till the sales. If you're going to invest in a big pad of distress ink, and you want that vintage look, Walnut Stain. I've watched some Tim tutorials. I use this quite frequently. A lot of people use the Walnut Stain. I prefer the Walnut Stain to the other colors if I want to distress something and make it look vintage. As you can see, I have an ink Dauber. I think they're made by Ranger. Let me see. I don't know if this one has any markings on it. No, it doesn't. Ranger makes these. Basically, it's Velcro. You just stick it onto the pad, and then you do whatever you want to do with it. Definitely, if you see these, the Hobby Lobby brand is okay, but their pads suck. I just got the Ranger. They're inexpensive enough. When you buy these, you get 2 in a pack, and you get 4 pads with them, and you can buy the extra pads. Totally something worth getting. Okay, and we'll move on to inking, more inking. This is Memento. I have used this with Copic markers. Unfortunately, I don't work at a scrapbook store anymore, so I don't have access to all the fun art supplies. My best friend ran a scrapbook store, and I learned how to use Copic art markers, and this was the ink we used with La La Land stamps, and they are really cute. They're little girls. I don't have one out. I've got one somewhere. I've got to find it, but definitely they're adorable. I love them. But this is my favorite ink. It somehow got green on the bottom, but it's fine. It's fine. It still works. I tend to store my inks upside down. That's just what I was taught to do. That's how I do it. Memento comes in so many colors. I have it in blue, I have it in brown, and I have obviously the black. If you're going to invest in the mini inks, I really recommend it. I have every color they've ever made. This is just one tin I had out. These are the really bright colors. I mean, we're talking like bright orange, bright yellow, bright green. I go through periodically and make sure they haven't. If you store them upside down, sometimes the lids will come a little loose, but or if you pull them in and out a lot, the lids will come loose. I usually try to make sure that they're in there with the lids on tight. Definitely worth it. You can buy the tins. It's a distress ink storage tin. You see how I store it. Like I said, I have 6 tins like this. I have every color they've ever made. So, worth the money. If you're investing in an adhesive runner, I love the Tombow. I used it for my wedding. I've gone through so many of these. It's great. It's one of the best adhesive runners on the market. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It changes off easily. You just literally squeeze the sides. Bada bang, you keep your bottom piece, replace your top. So, but I haven't been using it as much lately because I have been swayed to the world of liquid glues again. For a long time, I was very much the adhesive runner, but now I've moved more into Scor tape. It's great. I mean, it's crack. You can use it for, glitter. I've used it for, to keep flowers on top of to glue flowers down to a project. It's great. Wonderful, wonderful invention. You can get it, I have 1/8 of an inch, I have 3/4 of an inch, I have 1/2 inch. You can get it up to, I think, 2 inches. They make sheets of it. You can put stickers on, things you want to turn into a sticker on and then cut around it, like your Cricut cuts. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. You should obtain this if you can. It's great. It's really great stuff. I just use it all the time. When I have a big project, this is what I'm gravitating towards. Another thing I gravitate towards is the Arts Glitter Glue. This is great. I mean, I got this set, including the metal tip and the pin, for $15. And I have just barely cracked into, I mean, there's how much of that I've used, and I've refilled this bottle several times. So, I will be repurchasing. I will be buying a couple bottles for the winter since I'm using it more. But with the fine point tip, it puts out a really fine bead of glue. It's great. I put this in. I have a basket where I keep the adhesives that I use a lot, and it goes in that basket so I can find it again. And since it's sitting here, I know it's hard to see. This is a Fiskars Ruler. I really recommend a clear ruler. Tim Holtz, if I can ever get my hands on his, has one that has holes in it. Trying to get it. Definitely recommend a clear ruler for scrapbooking, card making purposes. You can see where you're marking on your cards. So definitely invest in a clear ruler. Also invest in some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. This color is Summer Sunflower, but it comes in a whole bunch of colors. You can get 2-ounce bottles. I've seen 4-ounce bottles, I think, were a thing at one point in time. This you can use with your stencils. It's beautiful. It's glittery. It splatters. It's wonderful. And if you're ever curious, you have the glitter residue on the bottom. You just shake your bottle back and forth and shake it back and forth some more. Oh, look, it's mostly gone. All you have to do is shake it up, and then if you look, it's really beautifully, and yeah, it's just really pretty. It's fun to use. I have 20 different colors. It's great. Seriously, I love this stuff. If you're looking for a fabric fixing glue, fabrifix or Fabri-Tac, both are excellent. I mean, you just unscrew the lid if I ever can. I mean, and then I use it for lace. I use it for burlap when I'm layering things. I reach for this. This is great, especially when you're gluing fabric down. Works. It's great. It's washable. It works. Modge Podge, I prefer the matte version. Everybody to each his own. I just like the matte. I got this big bottle at Joann's. It will last me forever. When you do this, there's a lid seal. Make sure you're shutting your jars. Otherwise, your Modge Podge will dry out and be useless. I learned that the hard way. So, there is also this is the Crop-A-Dile corner punch. I believe this, does it show? It's round. It's the corner rounder. You open these two side pieces, they're connected. You flip them out, you put your paper down in there. You go chomp chomp. Well, you only have to do it once, but you go chomp, pull your paper out. It's got beautiful rounded corners. One side is 1/4 an inch, one side is 1/2 an inch. 1/4 and 1/2. They are expensive. They are like $20. They have different shapes. They have a scroll pattern. I will eventually own that one, but for now I just have this one, and it's great. It punches through chipboard. It punches through anything. So really invest in that. Now on to the big items that don't really live on my table all the time. Whereas a lot of these things are small and handheld, and they do live on my table all the time. These are some pieces that are kind of large. So one of the first things I'm going to show you is very expensive. I got mine on a like 30-40% off sale. So instead of paying $45, I paid like $23. It was great. I really recommend this. This is the Crop-A-Dile Big Bite 2. Or the Crop-A-Dile 2 Big Bite. This has 2 different size hole punches. So it has 3/8, 3/16, and 1/8. And then if you push it all the way up here, you can change this down here, and it sets your brads. I use this all the time. I use it when I do my journals, if I need to set a brad. In the spines of my journals, I tend to set eyelets so I can have the thread come through and not damage. Best thing I ever bought. Seriously, I use it all the time. Worth the splurge. If you're gonna wait until something goes on sale, this is the thing you wait. I mean, I waited for this. I watched, and now I have it. It's kind of heavy, you know. It's a nice big piece of metal machinery. Everybody should have a good cutter. This is just the rotary blade one for Fiskars. It's more compact. It will extend out to measure that 12 by 12 paper. I've used Fiskars for years, but I was using one that had the string in the middle, and it was just getting old, and that had worn out. I'd had it since 2011. It was time to upgrade. I upgraded to this. As you can see, there's a rotary blade in it. As you cut, you just press down. It cuts beautifully. I have no complaints about this machine. You can lock the guard even. It's great. I can't recommend... I mean, there's different sizes of Fiskars, but I just like this one. So, that's the one I've been using. And something else every person should have a good one of. Everybody needs a good scoreboard. This is just one from EK Success. It was relatively inexpensive. I mean, it goes and it shows you how to score up to 12 inches. And it's got the grooves where you can just draw down. Or you can actually, I didn't think you could do it, but it looks like it measures both ways. So, you know, you make it work. You'll figure it out. The nice thing is my bone folder for it fits into the top. And then on the back, there's a piece to do envelopes. So that's what that is. All right. One of the last things I want to show you is two of my very first loves that I learned at the scrapbooking store. One of them is Stickles. This is your high-end glitter glue. Ranger makes it. It comes in so many different colors. There were Tim Holtz Stickles at one time. I have them. They're ancient, but I've kept the lids on. They're still good. They don't go bad. I mean, as long as you keep that lid on, just be aware that the more you round it up, the longer it takes to dry. So be aware not to touch it until it's dry, because I've learned that the hard way, and I've had to go back and take it all off and redo it. Stickles, they come in this is just frosted lace. This is a subtle sparkle. It comes in purple and gold and green. What's this one? Oh, aha, one of the Tim Holtz ones. This is one of the Distress. I was very lucky to buy it when I did, because they don't make them anymore. I wish they still did, because these were great. These were great. What's this? Liquid pearls is also nice if you want more of a pearlized effect. These are great. I just happen to have the onyx pearl on my table and with an arm's reach. And then to go along with that, glossy accents. I use this all the time. I've put it over the Stickles, and it makes them more like a smooth stone. It doesn't chip off. I've used it to make glass. I've just used it to do a lot of things. It's amazing. If you want, I mean, I think Hobby Lobby still sells it. This is something that is definitely worth investing in. A little bit goes a long way. You can use it forever. So I really recommend investing in some of the good pieces. Like, invest in your Distress inks, invest in your Modge Podge, invest in the tools that you're going to use all the time. Like I said, a lot of my tools I got when I really got hardcore in scrapbooking, and now look at them. I mean, the perfect example here is my hole punch, and it is, let's see, 2011 I got it, so let's see, 8 years old, and they still work great. If you invest in the stuff that you know is going to work, you'll have it forever. My ink is that old. I have never re-inked this, by the way. You can buy, there is a Distress Refresh spray that'll bring your dried out pad a little bit back to life, but you can re-ink your pads. You can buy re-inkers. I've never re-inked this pad. This is as it was the day I took it out of the packaging. So, I mean, I can't complain. I've been very blessed in the fact that I have these things. If you ever have a question, or there's a supply that you're like, hey, maybe you have it, so I know before I go out and spend $40, hey, do you have this? How does it work? Do you like it? Feel free to drop me a message. I usually try to check my messages on here pretty frequently, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And as always, happy crafting, and I'll see you in my next video.